forgot that part. Good morning, everybody. We've got a pretty packed room today. Welcome. The House Judiciary Committee will come to order. Madam Clerk, will you please take attendance?
Chair Breen.
Present.
Representatives Edwards.
Present.
Carter.
Present.
Pope.
Here.
Arbit.
Present.
Devendorf. Hoskins.
Here.
Cerniglu.
Here.
Fink.
Here.
Wenzel.
Here.
Wozniak.
Here.
Outman.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Madam Chair, you have 12 members present. You do have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I have a motion from Vice Chair Edwards to approve and adopt the minutes from the previous meeting. And we are going now to proceed with today House Bills 4006, 4031, and 4032. Just a few preliminary remarks here. This is a highly charged issue. I know that people are extraordinarily passionate on this topic, myself included. I'm going to ask that everybody be respectful towards one another. We're all adults, we're all grown-ups in this room. We have a lot of folks who wish to speak. However, in the interest of time, noting that we have a substitute and multiple amendments, I'm going to ask that everybody be as brief as possible, be as cordial as possible, so that we can get through this. I expect that we will not only hear these bills today, but we will be voting them out to the floor. And I would first like to invite Representative Pahutsky, Representative Braybeck, and Representative Young to testify on their bills.
Thank you, Madam Chair and the committee. Representative Braybeck is on her way up right now. I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to testify on House Bills 4006, 4031, and 4032. I also want to thank Representatives Young and Braybeck for their truly incredible work on this legislation. I will be as brief as possible since these bills are simple. Last November, voters in Michigan overwhelmingly supported Proposal 3, which enshrines the right to reproductive freedom in our state's constitution. That includes access to abortion. In doing so, voters rendered Michigan's draconian 1931 criminal abortion ban unconstitutional. The bills before you today remove that ban and its associated provisions in the sentencing guidelines and corrections code. The people of Michigan made it crystal clear that they want abortion to remain safe and accessible here. And it is incumbent on us now to remove this outdated and unconstitutional law from the books. There's also a substitute before the committee that, in addition to repealing the criminal abortion ban, which is MCL 750.14, it would also repeal MCL 750.15 from the same enacting section, which is a specific ban on medication used to produce an abortion. As Dr. Wallach can attest to better than I can in a bit, medication abortion is one of the safest and most common forms of not only abortion care, but miscarriage management as well. And this substitute will ensure that all parts of the 1931 ban are removed from our statute. Thank you, and we are happy to take questions, I believe, at the end is when we're doing that.
Yes, I'm going to ask that the committee hold their questions to the end for the respective witnesses. Thank you. Representative Young, anything? No? Okay. Thank you, Rep. Pahutsky. I would like to invite Marissa Kovach from the ACLU to come and speak.
Good morning. My name is Marissa Kovach. I'm the Legislative Director at the ACLU of Michigan. Thank you very much for bringing up this important legislation. I also want to thank Representatives Pahutsky, Young, and Braybeck for sponsoring this legislation. So we are in support of the bills in front of you today, which will repeal the over 90-year-old laws criminalizing abortion in Michigan, including the 1931 abortion ban, which is one of the most extreme abortion bans in the country. The 1931 law has been unenforceable since Roe was decided in 1973, and this summer when Roe fell, a judge ruled that the law was unconstitutional under the Michigan Constitution, which ensured that Michiganders didn't lose their health care option over the summer. Finally, thanks to voters in November of 2022, the right to reproductive freedom is now enshrined in our state constitution, which includes abortion. These extreme and archaic laws now most clearly stand in direct contradiction to our Constitution, and they should be repealed. As we know all too well, there is a danger in allowing unconstitutional laws, especially laws that threaten the health and safety of Michiganders, to remain on our books. Abortion is healthcare, and Michiganders deserve to make reproductive healthcare decisions for themselves. And anyone who has ever had to make the decision about whether or not to have an abortion, no matter what the reason is, knows in their core how deeply personal that is and why it needs to be reserved for them in consultation with their doctors and the loved ones that they choose. So now is the time to ensure that these dangerous laws never again pose a risk to threaten the health or lives of Michiganders. And I, again, really thank you for your consideration today. I'm happy to answer any questions or are we holding off?
We're going to hold, but please stand by.
Okay, great, thank you.
Dr. Sarah Wallace from the Planned Parenthood, and I believe you are the Chief Medical Officer for Planned Parenthood. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Dr. Sarah Wallet. I'm the Chief Medical Operating Officer for Planned Parenthood of Michigan. I am a physician, an obstetrician gynecologist, and a proud abortion provider. Each day I have the honor of providing essential reproductive and sexual health care, including abortion, to patients across Michigan and to patients who have traveled across the country to reach me. I listen to their stories, I hold their hands, I laugh with them, I cry with them, and I support them as they make important decisions about their health, their families, and their futures. I should be in a health center caring for my patients today, but instead I'm here asking you to do what lawmakers should have done decades ago: repeal Michigan's 1931 criminal abortion ban. It's terrifying to know that a nearly century-old ban remains on Michigan's law books, threatening to label me a felon. I should not have to fear being arrested, separated from my family, stripped of my medical license, and barred from practicing medicine, simply for providing the care my patients depend on. And my patients should not have to fear that they will abruptly lose abortion access and be forced to travel out of state, seek care outside of the legal medical system, or continue a pregnancy against their will. That is the reality for far too many Americans living in states with bans similar to the one we are discussing today. Abortion is health care. It is essential, life-saving, and life-affirming health care. And the research is clear. People who are denied wanted abortions faced increased rates of life-threatening complications. They are more likely to face health complications even years after the pregnancy, as well as experience increased rates of poverty and domestic violence. These people are not just statistics. They are the patients I care for every day, patients with names, families, fears, and dreams. I have spent the past year in litigation, fighting to protect their right to determine their own reproductive futures, and to ensure physicians like myself are not jailed for doing our jobs. We were able to win an injunction against the ban, but that is not enough. Its continued existence in Michigan's law books is an ever-present threat, intimidating patients and doctors alike. Michiganders deserve to know that our state laws unequivocally guarantee their right to access safe and legal abortion. On behalf of abortion providers and the patients who count on us for care, I urge you to remove this threat to our rights and health once and for all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wallet. We also have Stephanie Loven from Planned Parenthood here to testify.
We got it. Stephanie Ivan here as a patient of Planned Parenthood. Thank you all so much for having me here and for listening to my story. I was 23 years old. I had just moved to New York City, and my partner at the time recently moved there to be with me. It was my first year of being a real adult. I had just joined a program called New York City Teaching Fellows, which meant that I was teaching full-time while also in grad school and commuting about 3 hours a day. And on top of that, I was living with 4 roommates, making about $45,000 a year, in one of the most expensive cities in our country. I have a vivid memory of opening my first paycheck, calling up my mom, and sobbing, getting angry with her for letting me move to New York on this salary, fearful that I wouldn't be able to pay my bills. Fortunately, with a very strict budget and working 2 additional part-time jobs, I was just able to make ends meet. At the time, I was not on birth control. Like many other women, I had tried a lot. NuvaRings, various pills, multiple IUDs. They all gave me really terrible side effects, including feeling nauseous 24/7 and having cramps so bad that I truly couldn't get out of bed. My partner and I tried to be as responsible as we could using condoms, but one week I missed my period, took a test, and learned that I was pregnant. My partner and I sought advice from both of our mothers, who were very fortunate to have strong, trusting relationships with. To our surprise, they both had abortions in their 20s, which neither of us knew about. Fortunately, we had a choice. Our options were 1, we could get married immediately and that would be the start of our family, or 2, we could get an abortion. We both knew that we were not ready to get married or be parents. I was just starting off my career, and my partner was looking for jobs and doing some tutoring gigs on the side. On top of that, we had a pretty unhealthy relationship, which included multiple breakups over many years. There was no trust, no stability, and very little happiness. It was not the type of relationship we wanted to bring a child into. Being new to New York City, I hadn't yet found a gynecologist. I had been to Planned Parenthood in the past for some routine stuff and decided to reach out. Within a few days, we had an appointment, and I got an abortion. 1 year later, that boyfriend and I broke up. Other than a small circle of people really close to me, no one knows about my abortion. I've never felt shame or regret about the choice I made, but it was still something I worried others would judge me for and didn't feel comfortable sharing, until now. 1 in 4 women have an abortion before they turn 45. Everyone loves someone who's had an abortion. Both my mother and my ex-boyfriend's mother had abortions and never spoke about it, and this has to change. The polarizing beliefs on reproductive rights is scary, and making the decision to talk about my abortion here today was also really scary. I'm sharing my story and the choice I made to have an abortion to help educate, empower, and normalize abortion conversations so we can eliminate stigma and protect everyone's right to make their own healthcare choices. I'm grateful every day that I had the choice to make the decision that was best for me at the time of my pregnancy. My experience wasn't traumatic, and I have no regrets. It's not a catchy story that would make for an interesting book. Making the choice to have an abortion was an easy decision for me. But that's not everyone's experience, which makes normalizing abortion conversations and ensuring the right to choose that much more necessary. The only thing that scares me about my abortion is thinking about what would have happened if I didn't have it, and if I didn't have that choice. I'd probably be living in Florida, away from my family, in an incredibly unhappy, unhealthy, and abusive marriage, with a 10-year-old child I know I'd love but could hardly support. Because I was able to make the choice to have an abortion, I earned 2 master's degrees, have a competitive salary, I'm engaged to my best friend, and I'm happy. I urge you to repeal the 1931 abortion ban and ensure that every Michigander can determine their own future and make decisions about what's best for their health, lives, and relationships, just like I was able to. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. We have a presentation from Nomi Joyrich from the Michigan Unitarian Universalist Social Justice Work and the Director of Jews for Secular Democracy. She is on Zoom. Welcome, Nomi.
Good afternoon, and I want to thank you for allowing me to testify via Zoom. I'm sorry I can't be there. Recent injury has prevented me from being able to come. I am Nomi Joyrich, and I represent 2 faith-based nonpartisan organizations. I am the Michigan Director for Jews for Secular Democracy and an organizer for Michigan Unitarian Universalist Social Justice Network. And I'm here today to ask you to support House Bills 4006, 4031, and 4032. Faith-based organizations around the nation are concerned about issues of religious freedom and freedom from religious discrimination. Laws that seek to restrict abortion and contraception are based on one religious group's concept of when life begins and its moral code about sex and procreation. There is no scientific or religious consensus about these matters. Many religions, including my own, necessitate the right to choice. Our Constitution does not allow one religion's belief system to be elevated above others. Faith-based organizations and the government share a responsibility to protect the separation of religion and government. Religion must be protected from government, and government must be protected from religion. In 1644, the British minister who founded Rhode Island, Roger Williams, said, "When they have opened a gap in the hedge or wall of separation between the garden of the church and the wilderness of the world, God broke down the wall and made his garden a wilderness. If he will ever restore his garden in paradise, it must be walled." In other words, if religion and government are mixed, then both are corrupted. Thomas Jefferson later used this metaphor as the foundation of the First Amendment. In 1947, Supreme Court Justice Hugo Black said, "The First Amendment has erected a wall between church and state. That wall must be kept high and impregnable. We could not approve the slightest breach." Although our founders were clear about the necessity of keeping religion out of government, we see countless examples of breaches in this wall. The 1931 abortion ban laws are some of those dangerous breaches and must be removed from our books. Had it not been for the voters' resounding support of the Reproductive Freedom for All proposal, the Michigan Supreme Court would very likely have ruled that these laws are unconstitutional. However, it is not this legislature's job to determine their constitutionality. It is your job to do the will of the people. An overwhelming majority of Michigan voters voted for the RFFA proposal. Michiganders want reproductive freedom enshrined in our Constitution. The 1931 laws are zombie laws that serve no purpose. Some may wonder why bother to repeal them when the RFFA makes them unenforceable. But if some future court, referendum, or constitutional convention alters or eliminates the RFFA, then it should be up to the voters at that time to determine what laws should govern them. They should not be forced to adhere to ancient laws simply because we never bothered to clean out our books. It is time to remove the relics, to clear out outdated laws, and to make our statutes consistent with our Constitution and the will of the people. I urge you to repeal the 1931 laws. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to call now on Rebecca Master from the Michigan Catholic Conference.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair Breen and members of the committee. I am Rebecca Masty, representing the Michigan Catholic Conference, which is the official public policy voice of the Catholic Church in our state. I thank you for the opportunity to speak today in opposition to the bills before you. We understand the new Reproductive Freedom Amendment is likely the impetus for the bills being considered, and as you may be aware, the Catholic Church strongly opposed Proposal 3 and the new amendment. We continue to have great concern that the amendment places women and their health at risk. We too see its passage as a mandate for society, a mandate that women deserve better options than abortion. What does it say when our society promotes abortion as the solution to unplanned, unexpected, and challenging pregnancies? To those who say some women need abortion to be available, especially women with fewer economic resources or opportunities, I ask, what if they were supported? What if society focused on providing her and her family with health care, adequate resources, education and employment opportunities, a support system, and helped to make sure her material needs were met? It is often said that no woman wants to have an abortion, but for many, they feel it is their only option. There was a survey some years back of post-abortive women, which found that 86% of these women would not have had their abortion if only one person had been willing to help them. 86%, one person. As a society, we must do better. So we encourage this committee and the legislature as a whole to focus on ways to support women and families throughout their pregnancies and beyond. With this in mind, we also ask that you refrain from repealing the 1931 law and its related statutes. For over 90 years, these measures have allowed abortion to save the life of the mother and have served to protect women in our state to the extent that they were able to be enforced under Roe versus Wade and the federal Constitution. Now our state constitution has changed, and with this, any parameters with which the 1931 statute could influence the law have also changed, and while very limited, significant and worth consideration. Section 1 of the new constitutional amendment provides the state may regulate the provision of abortion care after fetal viability. Again, the state may regulate abortion care after fetal viability. The constitutional amendment itself does not provide regulatory language here. Instead, this provision charges our existing laws and the legislature to provide regulations after fetal viability, when babies are able to survive outside the womb. Remaining in statute, the 1931 law may serve to stand in this gap, limiting post-viability abortions on healthy women. To what extent the statute could be enforced within these limited parameters remains to be seen. But what does our law say without it? The vast majority of Americans oppose late-term abortions. Polling shows anywhere from 76 to 83% oppose. I imagine this would be much higher if it were polling on full-term babies as well. At a minimum, can we agree that Michigan does not want abortions being performed on viable and full-term babies whose mothers are healthy? We urge you to oppose these bills. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Amy Belfer.
Good morning. Good morning, Honorable Chair and committee members. During the countless hours I spent collecting petition signatures and door knocking for Proposal 3 and working in coalition with 50 nonprofit organizations on reproductive justice, I witnessed the widespread bipartisan support that Michiganders have for abortion access. Over 2.5 million people spoke up in November to say that no one deserves to be criminalized for making private healthcare decisions regarding their own bodies. The criminalization under the existing archaic criminal abortion ban puts pregnant individuals and healthcare providers at risk of severe penalization for seeking potentially life-saving health care. The people most impacted by abortion bans are people who are often already adversely affected by disparities in health care, including Black and brown communities, individuals who are low income, LGBTQIA individuals, and individuals living in rural areas. Michigan can and should be a safe haven.
I'm so sorry, but could you please turn your microphone on?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Should I just keep going? Okay. Michigan can and should be a safe haven for these individuals and all individuals needing access to abortion and reproductive health care. This is a crucial moment in history, and you could protect reproductive freedom by supporting House Bill 4006, 4031, and 4032. Thank you.
Thank you. I also have a number of cards of people wishing to speak. However, due to time constraints, the need to get through the substitute and the various amendments, I'm going to ask that we hold off. I have Austin Krautz opposing the bill, Catherine Boussard, Marilyn Wagner, Rebecca Kessling, and Genevieve Marnon, all submitting cards in opposition. And I would like to call Representative Pahutsky, Representative Brayback, and Representative Young back up to field any questions that the committee may have. Thank you. I believe Representative Fink has a question.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So one of the items that we heard today is that the laws that we're talking about repealing under these bills must be repealed because they're unconstitutional under Article 1, Section 26 of our Constitution, which was adopted as Prop 3 last year. But that seems to me to be in tension with the advocacy for Proposal 3, which said that the effort was designed to restore Roe, and the 1931 law was found to be construed consistent with Roe for certain purposes, abortions that remained illegal even under the terms of Roe. So if all Prop 3 was supposed to do is restore Roe, how is it that the 1931 law cannot be constitutionally construed today?
I would also welcome, probably Marissa would be really well suited to field some of this and fill in any gaps that I'm leaving, but part of the problem with the 1931 law is it was written in 1931. It is very broad. There are a lot of gaps. It's no longer medically accurate. It is unconstitutional under Prop 3 because Prop 3 was written last year. So it's extremely broad. There are no ifs and thens, and there's nothing, and it doesn't define the things that are defined in Prop 3. So it is unfortunately unconstitutional. But Marissa, please feel free to fill in any gaps if she's able to come back up. Madam Chair.
Yes. Marissa, would you like to come up and help field some of these questions?
And I guess just to clarify the question then, so what that would suggest is that this is not simply a restoration of the state of play under Roe versus Wade. It would be an extension or an expansion of what Roe did because, again, the 1931 law was found by the Michigan Supreme Court to be construed to be consistent with Roe versus Wade if applied, with the Roe framework. So, for instance, non-physician abortions, that kind of thing, those were still prosecutable under the 1931 law during the time that Roe versus Wade was in effect. So if we're saying that that can't be true under Article 1, Section 26, then this would be beyond Roe.
I think I'm following. Let me know if I need if this is not satisfactory. But the 1931 law has not been enforceable. It has been unconstitutional across the board. It has been unable to be enforced for 50 years since Roe was decided. So this has been sitting here unenforceable.
Are you familiar with the People Against Bricker case from 1973, Michigan Supreme Court case? A non-physician abortion is still prosecutable under the 1931 law, according to the Michigan Supreme Court post Roe. Because this is the only law we have to enforce illegal abortions under. So the Supreme Court said the law is unconstitutional for purposes that Roe speaks to directly, but for those things that are outside the scope of Roe, this is still the law by which those prosecutions happen. I think as recently as 2019, there was a prosecution under the 1931 law for a non-physician abortion. So I don't think it's simply not true that the 1931 law was completely unenforceable under Roe.
I believe you're feeding into conspiracy theories about Prop 3 allowing for anyone to perform an abortion, and that's simply not what's in the text of Prop 3. So there is not going to be the ability for people who are not medically trained to perform abortions.
No, my question is really just limited to, is this, what I'm hearing is that this would go beyond the enforceability of the 1931 law under Roe, which was cabined, according to our Supreme Court, to only those cases that aren't essentially within the exact scope of Roe. Because obviously every state had different cases.
Fills in the gaps you're asserting still exist.
What I'm saying is that it was found to be constitutionally enforceable under certain circumstances under Roe,
and
you're
we
saying
didn't
it's
have Prop 3.
Well, so it does go beyond Roe is the point then, right? I'm just trying to clarify. You're saying that the Prop 3 goes beyond Roe.
No.
Okay, I mean, if it was enforceable under Roe and it's not enforceable today, then it must be larger than Roe.
No.
Okay.
I have a question. It's to my understanding, in a nutshell, that until Prop 3 came along, Roe was the law of the land until the Dobbs decision, and now Prop 3 is essentially taking us back where to Roe was. And therefore, the criminal provisions relating to the 1931 repeal, as well as the companion bills by Representatives Braybeck and Young, simply we are taking criminal penalties off the book that are no longer enforceable. Is it just as simple as that, or am I missing something?
That's exactly it. There was a constitutional amendment that voters overwhelmingly approved that makes these laws unconstitutional. They have been unenforceable for 50 years prior to that. This just cleans up the books in a way that the people of Michigan very clearly asked us to do.
Thank you. We have a question from Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Given that Proposal 3 has passed and has been voted on, okay, assumed, where are the safeguards in the definition to safeguard women's health issues in the cases of abortions and everything else mentioned in Proposal 3?
The bill in front of you today is narrow in scope. This is simply an unconstitutional ban on abortion in virtually all circumstances, with a narrow exception for a women's life. We have laws and regulations and safeguards on the book that that ensure safety in the delivery of abortion care for patients across Michigan. This is one narrow law that is unenforceable, extreme, archaic, that needs to be removed, but that doesn't mean that we don't have provisions and safety in the delivery of medical care in Michigan.
Are you all advocates for the current laws that are on the books around the safeguards of current abortion law in Michigan?
I think, so part of the issue is that we're not here to litigate those laws. And frankly, we're not here to litigate Prop 3 either. We're here to deal with 3 specific areas that are now unconstitutional and were previously unenforceable. I don't believe that anybody here has the time to go through line by line and find every law that we may agree on, we may disagree on. We can make time for that at some point, but we're not here to litigate that. And frankly, regardless of anyone's feelings about Prop 3 and how it was written or whether or not it should have passed, it did. So we're not here to litigate that either.
Thank you, Rep. Pohotsky. I have a final question before we move to Rep. Stevendorf and Hope. It's to my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the only individuals allowed to perform or prescribe medication abortion are licensed physicians in the state of Michigan. Is that correct? Or if not, a licensed physician, if you will.
Well, the physician here who should be speaking to medical decisions, not politicians, is nodding vehemently. So yes, that is the case.
Okay, thank you very much. Representative Devendorf.
Yes, thank you, everybody, our legislators in the ACLU, for everything that you are doing on this and today. I wanted to speak to testimony that was made earlier and just address a concern. First, I want to thank the Michigan Catholic Conference for expressing that we do need more resources for families, and I hope that that commitment stays in place because we absolutely should be supporting our families and all folks who are pursuing reproductive rights and support for families throughout the raising of a child or deciding whether they want to have a family. I appreciate that, and I also do want to emphasize that we did have a poll in Michigan that was statewide, and it was Proposal 3, and there was overwhelming support for reproductive choice, and it won. It won with overwhelming support. I am a data nerd. I would love to see the crosstabs on the poll that you shared. However, it does not change why we are here today, what we need to do, because overwhelmingly the people of Michigan did say that they want folks to have a choice about what is done with their body and that they would like that choice to be theirs. So that is what we are voting on here today. I'm sure that a number of people would not like to be left in a position to have to make hard choices. But unfortunately, we often are, and for many varied reasons that are often assumed to be very simple, but they just aren't. We are not uniform, we are not a monolith, and it should not be assumed as such. So that means all the more that we should have choice, that we should have autonomy. So I do appreciate the offering of support, and I really appreciate that we are here to make this change, to respect the vote and will of the people today. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Devendorf. It is important and imperative that we agree to support moms in the decisions that they make. and we do need to support maternal health, and we need to support children after they are born, too. We need to provide these kinds of support, and Michigan is poised to make sure that those supports are adequate and, well, beyond adequate. We need to support our moms and our kids. Representative Hope?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Excuse me. I wanted to give the doctor an opportunity to tell us what's wrong with the phrase full-term abortion.
Thank you. The vast majority of abortions happen very early in pregnancy, less than 9 weeks of gestation. Abortions that happen later in pregnancy, more than 20 weeks, account for less than 1% of all abortions in the United States. They are very, very rare. And when they happen because of devastating circumstances, whatever those circumstances are. When we talk about abortions later in pregnancy, we are talking about people who we should have the deepest compassion for, who are making very difficult choices in very challenging circumstances that none of us who haven't been there can really understand.
If I may, are there instances where live children are killed in a delivery room?
No.
Last question, quickly, if you will, Representative Johnson.
On which provision of the Michigan law prohibits anyone else except for a licensed physician from performing an abortion? And the second part of that is, what is the penalty? What's the penalty to protect women from someone else entering a multi-billion-dollar industry?
I don't have the MCL on me, but there are scope of practice laws in Michigan that state only physicians can provide abortions. And maybe the doctor has more to add there, but I would be happy to find the MCL and send it to your office if you'd like, and show you where the law is.
Yeah, as an abortion provider, the reason I'm here today is because I care deeply about the health and safety of my patients. The 1931 abortion ban does not improve their health or safety. It makes them fearful. It makes them afraid that they cannot get the health care they need. And it makes physicians fearful to provide the health care that their patients need and want. There are regulations in for advanced practice providers in the Board of Nursing that currently kind of regulate scope. So there are outside of law regulations on who can provide what types of care in the state of Michigan.
I would like to thank everybody that appeared today to offer their opinion and testimony on these bills. And thank you again to Representatives Pahutsky, Braybeck, and Young for bringing these forward so we can get these now moot bills off the books as they are no longer enforceable. And with that, I am going to move on to the order of business here. We have a substitute H1 that adjusts the language of House Bill 4006 before the committee that would also repeal MCL 750.15. I will take a motion from Representative Hoskins to adopt the H1 sub for House Bill 4006. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Chair Breen.
Aye.
Representatives Edwards.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Hope.
Yes.
Arbit.
Aye.
Diemendorf.
Aye.
Hoskins.
Yes.
Cerniglu.
Yes.
Fink.
Yes, to adopt the sub.
Yes.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Outman.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 13 yeas, 0 nays, 0 pass. The substitute is adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. As indicated before, we have multiple amendments to the substitute, and I'm going to ask my colleagues to keep any of their comments, should they speak to their amendments, very brief. With that, we have Amendment number 1 by Representative Fink. If you have approximately 20 seconds to speak to your amendment.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This amendment would tie bar House Bill 4006 to House Bill 4103, which defines extraordinary health measures. That term is used in our Constitution, but not defined. Proposal 3, or Article 1, Section 26 defines fetal viability as the point in pregnancy in which, in the professional judgment of an attending healthcare professional, and based on particular facts of the case, there's a significant likelihood of the fetus's sustained survival outside the uterus without the application of extraordinary medical measures. And this bill would define extraordinary health medical measures as essentially those that are normally provided in a NICU.
Thank you. There is a motion to adopt the amendment by Representative Fink. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Chair Breen.
No.
Representatives Edwards.
No.
Carter.
No.
Hope.
No.
Arbit.
No.
Devendorf.
No.
Hoskins.
No.
Cerniglu.
No.
Fink.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Hauptman.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 5 yeas, 8 nays, 0 passed. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Representative Johnson offers amendment number 2. Representative Johnson, would you like to speak to your amendment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This amendment is to tie bar House Bill 4006 to House Bill 4104, which states that if an individual is less than 16 years old, the individual shall not exercise a right described in Prop 3 without the consent of a parent or guardian. The bill retains current provisions of Michigan law that allow for judicial orders to bypass parental consent for abortions. Thank you.
Thank you. She moves that her amendment be adopted. Madam Clerk, will you please call the vote?
Chair Breen.
No.
Representatives Edwards.
No.
Carter.
No.
Hope.
No.
Arbit.
No.
Devendorf.
No.
Hoskins.
No.
Cerniglu.
No.
Fink.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Hauptman.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 5 yeas, 8 nays, 0 passed. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Representative Johnson offers amendment number 3. Do you wish to speak to your amendment?
Yes, please. Thank you. This amendment is to tie bar again House Bill 4006 to House Bill 4105, which states the attending healthcare professional who makes the diagnosis that an abortion is medically indicated cannot be the same attending healthcare professional who performs the abortion. Conflict of interest, both income-based and it's a second checkpoint. The attending healthcare professional making the decision that an abortion is medically indicated shall not assume or conclude that abortion is always safer for a pregnant individual than giving birth to the child, because that's just not true. And also, for an abortion to be medically indicated to protect the mental state, the mental health of the mother must be diagnosed with a serious mental condition before the pregnancy. I move that this amendment be adopted.
Representative Johnson moves that her amendment be adopted. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Chair Breen.
No.
Representatives Edwards.
No.
Carter.
No.
Hope.
No.
Arbit.
No.
Devendorf.
No.
Hoskins.
No.
Cerniglu.
No.
Fink.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Hauptman.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 5 yeas, 8 nays, 0 passed. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Representative Outman offers amendment number 4. Representative Outman, do you wish to very, very, very briefly speak to your amendment?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This amendment tie bars House Bill 4006 to House Bill 4106, which requires reporting by non-physicians.
Thank you. Representative Outman moves that this amendment be adopted. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Chair Breen.
No.
Representatives Edwards.
No.
Carter.
No.
Hope.
No.
Arbit.
No.
Devendorf.
No.
Hoskins.
No.
Cerniglu.
No.
Fink.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Hauptman.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 5 yeas, 8 nays, 0 passed. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Representative Johnson offers amendment number 5. Representative Johnson, do you very quickly wish to speak to your amendment?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This amendment is to tie bar House Bill 4006 to House Bill number 4107, which states that an abortion is not medically indicated to protect the life or physical or mental health of the mother if the abortion is for any of the following reasons: sex selection, which most of the globe eliminates females in that process, to abort a baby with Down syndrome, or to abort a baby with an extra sex chromosome. Thank you. I move that this amendment be adopted.
Representative Johnson moves that her amendment be adopted. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Chair Breen.
No.
Representatives Edwards.
No.
Carter.
No.
Hope.
No.
Arbit.
No.
Devendorf.
No.
Hoskins.
No.
Cerniglu.
No.
Fink.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Outman.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 5 yeas, 8 nays, 0 passed. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Representative Fink offers amendment number 6. Representative Fink, do you wish to quickly speak to your amendment?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. This would tie bar House Bill 4006 to House Bill 4108, which would prohibit abortions following fetal viability except to protect the life, physical health, or mental health of the mother, and define fetal viability at the number of gestational weeks as determined by the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, where there is a significant likelihood of a fetus's sustained survival outside the uterus without the application of extraordinary medical measures.
Thank you, Representative Fink. That moves that his amendment be adopted. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Chair Breen.
No.
Representatives Edwards.
No.
Carter.
No.
Hope.
No.
Arbit.
No.
Devendorf.
No.
Hoskins.
No.
Cerniglu.
No.
Fink.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Outman.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 5 yeas, 8 nays, 0 passed. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Representative Wenzel offers amendment number 7. It's to my understanding that amendments number 7 through 15 are all relatively the same, and I believe Representative Fink wishes to speak to the bulk of them.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Each of these would tie bar House Bill 4006 to House Bills 4109 through 4117, and they would respectively prohibit dentists, dermatologists, podiatrists, chiropractors, ophthalmologists, midwives, doulas, massage therapists, and athletic trainers from prescribing or performing abortions, and I move these amendments.
Thank you. Representative Wenzel offers amendment number 7. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Chair Breen.
No.
Representatives Edwards.
No.
Carter.
No.
Hope.
No.
Arbit.
No.
Devendorf.
No.
Hoskins.
No.
Cerniglu.
No.
Fink.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Outman.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 5 yeas, 8 nays, 0 passed. The Wenzel amendment is not adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Representative Wozniak offers amendment number 8. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Chair Breen.
No.
Representatives Edwards.
No.
Carter.
No.
Hope.
No.
Arbit.
No.
Devendorf.
No.
Hoskins.
No.
Cerniglu.
No.
Fink.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Outman.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 5 yeas, 8 nays, 0 pass. The Wozniak amendment is not adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Representative Wozniak offers amendment number 9 and moves that it be adopted. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Chair Breen.
No.
Representatives Edwards.
Nope.
Carter.
No.
Hope.
No.
Arbit.
Nope.
Devendorf.
Nope.
Hoskins.
No.
Cerniglu.
No.
Fink.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Outman.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 5 yeas, 8 nays, 0 pass. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you. Representative Wenzel offers and moves that we take up amendment number 10. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Chair Breen.
No.
Representatives Edwards.
No.
Carter.
No.
Hope.
No.
Arbit.
No.
Devendorf.
No.
Hoskins.
No.
Cerniglu.
No.
Fink.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Outman.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 5 yeas, 8 nays, 0 pass. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Representative Wenzel offers amendment number 11 and moves to adopt it. Please call the vote.
Chair Breen.
No.
Representatives Edwards.
No.
Carter.
No.
Hope.
No.
Arbit.
No.
Devendorf.
No.
Hoskins.
No.
Cerniglu.
No.
Fink.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Outman.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 5 yeas, 8 nays, 0 pass. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Representative Outman moves and offers amendment number 12. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Chair Breen.
No.
Representatives Edwards.
No.
Carter.
No.
Hope.
No.
Arbit.
No.
Devendorf.
No.
Hoskins.
No.
Cerniglu.
No.
Fink.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yeah.
Outman.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 5 yeas, 8 nays, 0 pass. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Representative Fink offers amendment number 13 and moves that it be adopted. Please call the vote.
Chair Breen.
No.
Representatives Edwards.
No.
Carter.
No.
Hope.
No.
Arbit.
No.
Devendorf.
No.
Hoskins.
No.
Cerniglu.
No.
Fink.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yeah.
Outman.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 5 yeas, 8 nays, 0 pass. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Representative Outman offers amendment number 14 and moves it be adopted. Please call the vote.
Chair Breen.
No.
Representatives Edwards.
No.
Carter.
No.
Hope.
No.
Arbit.
No.
Devendorf.
No.
Hoskins.
No.
Cerniglu.
No.
Fink.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yeah.
Outman.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 5 yeas, 8 nays, 0 pass. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Representative Wozniak offers amendment number 15 and moves that it be adopted. Please call the vote.
Chair Breen.
No.
Representatives Edwards.
No.
Carter.
No.
Hope.
No.
Arbit.
No.
Devendorf.
No.
Hoskins.
No.
Cerniglu.
No.
Fink.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Outman.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 5 yeas, 8 nays, 0 pass. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I will now take a motion to report House Bill 4006 as sub H1 with recommendation. So moved by Representative Hope. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Chair Breen.
Aye.
Representatives Edwards.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Hope.
Yes.
Arbit.
Aye.
Devendorf.
Yes.
Hoskins.
Yes.
Cerniglu.
Yes.
Fink.
No.
Wenzel.
No.
Wozniak.
No.
Outman.
No.
Johnson.
No.
Madam Chair, you have 8 yeas, 5 nays, 0 pass. House Bill 4006 is reported with recommendation as substitute H1.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I will now take a motion to report House Bill 4031 with recommendation. Motion from Representative Arbit. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Chair Breen.
Aye.
Representatives Edwards.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Hope.
Yes.
Arbit.
Yes.
Devendorf.
Yes.
Hoskins.
Yes.
Cerniglu.
Yes.
Fink.
No.
Wenzel.
No.
Wozniak.
No.
Outman.
No.
Johnson.
No.
Madam Chair, you have 8 yeas, 5 nays, 0 pass. House Bill 4031 is reported with recommendation.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I will now take a motion to report House Bill 4032 with recommendation. A motion made by Representative Devendorf. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Chair Breen.
Aye.
Representatives Edwards.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Hope.
Yes.
Arbit.
Yes.
Devendorf.
Yes.
Hoskins.
Yes.
Cerniglu.
Yes.
Fink.
No.
Wenzel.
No.
Wozniak.
No.
Outman.
No.
Johnson.
No.
Madam Chair, you have 8 yeas, 5 nays, 0 pass. House Bill 4032 is reported with recommendation.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I note that you have multiple cards and electronic communications that will be recorded in the minutes. Seeing we have no absent members and no further business before the committee, we are adjourned. Thank you.